All right, good morning, boys. Today we're going to get in the book of Acts, and lots of really crazy stories in the book of Acts. So there's some really neat stuff. Today we're going to talk about a man named Philip. Uh, we are in Acts chapter 8. I'm going to start in verse 26, and we're going to go all the way to the end of the chapter to verse 40. Probably make it kind of short today, but we'll start here. So an angel of the Lord spoke to Philip, "Get up and go south to the road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza. This is the desert road." So he got up and went. There was an Ethiopian man, a eunuch, and a high official of Candace, queen of Ethiopians, who was in charge of her entire treasury. He came to worship in Jerusalem and was sitting in his chariot on the way home reading the prophet Isaiah aloud. The Spirit told Philip, "Go and join the chariot." So Philip ran up to it, and he heard him reading the prophet Isaiah and said, "Do you understand what you're reading?" "How can I," he said, "unless someone guides me?" So he invited Philip to come up and sit with him. Now the scripture passage he was reading was this: "He was led like a sheep to the slaughter, and as a lamb is silent before its shearer, so he does not open his mouth. In his humiliation, justice was denied him. For who will describe this generation? For his life is taken from the earth." This was a piece of scripture from the book of Isaiah, which has like a lot of really good scripture that is prophecies of Jesus. And one of the just a little side note, they found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Which was, I think they found the Dead Sea Scrolls in the 60s, I think. But they found almost a full book of Isaiah. Most of our scriptures that we have in antiquity are all in like little pieces and fragments of fragments of the paper that they used. But they almost found the whole full one, which is really cool because it predates. It's 200 years before Christ. Anyway, so this eunuch was reading out of this book, and he's reading this scripture. And so the eunuch said to Philip, "I ask you, who is the prophet saying this about, himself or someone else?" So Philip proceeded to tell him the good news about Jesus, beginning with that scripture. As they were traveling down the road, they came to some water, and the eunuch said, "Look, there's water. What would keep me from being baptized?" So he ordered the chariot to stop, and both Philip and the eunuch went down to the water, and he baptized him. When they came up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord carried Philip away, and the eunuch did not see him any longer, but went on his way rejoicing. Philip appeared in Azotus, and he was traveling and preaching the gospel in all the towns until he came to Caesarea. So one little sentence, as if it's just nothing, just kind of just thrown in there, and you could just read right past and not think about it. But so Philip, the angel of the Lord, says to Philip, "Get up and run over here and talk to this Ethiopian man." And so Philip just does it, and gets a chance to explain to the Ethiopian man who Jesus was, and how he was the who was being talked about in the book of Isaiah. And then all of a sudden, Philip translocates, beams from one location to another location. So I guess we need to broaden our idea on what's actually physically possible when we obey God. So think about that, chew on it. It's pretty cool. I think it's possible today as it was then, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe in our lifetimes we see something like that. It'd be cool to be a part of it, to be beamed from one part of the country to another. I could go do that. I think it starts with obedience, though, and living in your true self and your true identity. So hope this blesses you. Love you. Have a great day.